this game makes the headlines for the right reasons this time around. As we said, the shed, well, it's been filling up for the past 4 hours. One thing's for sure, it is going to be a game not short on passion this afternoon. The King's Home faithful in here in force, around about 8,000 here in the Cherry and White's colours this afternoon. Your commentators, Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Well, as ever, we're right in the thick of it here. An extra edge, no doubt, provided by the events of December the 29th. And here are two clubs with a great deal at stake over the next few weeks. Newcastle, 2 wins away from a European spot. Gloucester have achieved that ambition already, of course, but they're 2 steps away from a Twickenham final. Something, Stuart, they've not achieved for 12 years, so the incentive is all there.
Well, and certainly both these teams will have seen Leicester just beaten by Bristol, and they'll see the doors to Twickenham opening wide. And Gloucester, well, they'll be thinking, who knows, it could be a Gloucester-Bristol West Country derby. The West awakes. Fascinating.
Well, Gloucester will make no apology to Rob Andrew and his men for pursuing that aim with maximum desire. The universal problem for clubs as summer draws closer, the issue of player fatigue, of course, but having said that, Gloucester have fared better than most. 4 positive changes are made to the side that beat Leeds on the final weekend of the league campaign. O'Leary for Albanese on the wing, and a full front row rotation, which brings back Collazo, England's new captain Vickery, and of course one of the men at the centre of the build-up to this match, Olivier Azam. Newcastle have, though, been severely hit by injury. The headline absentee today, Epi Taione, a broken hand ending his season, so no return for Taione to the scene of his dispute with Azam. Also out of the back row, Moa and Dunbar, so Vivian moves to blindside from lock alongside Devonshire and Arnold. Johnny Wilkinson is hurling headfirst into the 32-game quota, but his club need him if the Heineken Cup next season is to become a reality, let alone a championship final this season. Gloucester have certainly used the bench well this year. The record shows 11 tries scored in the Premiership by their replacements, the most by any club. And for Newcastle, they're Pat Lamb and Gary Armstrong, like Doddy Weir and George Graham, who are in the starting 15, knowing that defeat here today will end their Newcastle career. Rob Andrew only recently got his pass for this match, but as you've seen already, so far the reaction to Andrew has been a good one. No doubt getting wrapped up in the Andrew affair from a playing point of view could endanger clarity of thought. That's a point made by the 2 old friends and colleagues in charge of these teams, Nigel Melville now at Gloucester and Rob Andrew, making that point this week. Cool heads win rugby matches, and here are Newcastle, so disappointed to be closed out by Northampton last weekend. They're relying on this competition to deliver the lucrative journey into Europe next season. And Johnny Wilkinson, captain and guiding hand, guiding foot for that matter.
He's matured remarkably in the course of the last year. Rob Andrew will be so delighted with the progress of his protege, Johnny Wilkinson. Andrew, well, he might think the heat has been taken off his team. And Johnny Wilkinson, he's got to keep the cool head, because Rob Andrew, well, he's smiling now, but he does get het up on the touchline. And this could be a fiery old occasion. I mean, it was a cracking match when they met back on December the 29th.
Since we last saw Gloucester live on Sky, when they were dismantled by Northampton in April, they've scored 40-odd against Bristol, 50-odd against Leeds, 60+ against Bath. The cherries ripening in the sun. They're back on message. A team starting to look the part in all aspects of their play. 3rd in the Premiership table and deserving of that position. And this ovation. Will Vickery, the Gloucester and England captain now. Clive Woodward's latest selection in that role. And Nigel Melville's selection at full back these days is Henry Paul.
Well, I'll be fascinated to see Henry Paul playing today at full back. He has seemed far more comfortable to me in the last 2 weeks there. A little bit of time, a lot of vision. Look forward to seeing Henry Paul and James Simpson-Daniel working from deep.
James Forrester catching the eye as well this season. And a wonderful year. The Gloucester back row forward. It's been a long season. Started 9 months ago, and this is the final lap. The winning straight, a Twickenham final. The losers today, well, they may well have helped set the pace, but they will drop out. And that's an interesting start, the ball bobbling around. And Gloucester had to be aware. Mercier trying to run it out from defence. A poor pass from him. The players looking around for a knock-on. That wasn't the case. And Gloucester almost caught napping there.
Well done, Steve Lander. So often we see these advantages that are played for about 45 seconds. The advantage was that the knock-on went right into the hands of Mercier. They made the error. Newcastle in position.
Down goes Hall Charlton there. The scrum half for Newcastle. Alongside Wilkinson, they form a highly effective club partnership. Jamie Noon being driven back in that tackle. Charlton serves to Wilkinson. And here's Henry Paul underneath the high ball. Has a great ability to read a rugby match, Henry Paul. Whatever the code, he's still learning the Union game. And it could be that he's finding his place now. Of course, his kicking has always been exceptional.
He'll be thanking Johnny Wilkinson for giving him a very easy entry into this match. That was a poor kick from the England fly half, and in response, a magnificent punt from Henry Paul. Johnny Wilkinson will be a little bit disappointed with that start to the game. It was right down Paul's throat, and Paul is now well and truly in this game.
So is Doddy Weir with that catch. Leaves Newcastle to join the Borders side, the newly formed Borders club, next season, along with Armstrong and Graham. Wilkinson not kicking this time. New, good work. And it was Devonshire, the open side. Tackling is firm early on, as you'd expect here at Kingsholm.
Good to see Newcastle trying to go from deep inside their own 22 there. Lots of confidence.
2 league meetings this year, both of them close affairs. 29-25 the score here, the famous one, for non-playing reasons. And Newcastle shading out Gloucester at Kingston Park, 18-16. Didn't score a try that day, Newcastle. They relied on the boot of David Walder. Wilkinson wasn't playing.
That was very interesting, wasn't it? After Wilkinson's very poor first kick, did you notice the way he went for no distance at all? He just put it into touch to settle himself.
Unsettled there, Richard Arnold. He knocks on. The ironic cheers for Steve Lander, who's heard it all before on this ground.
Arnold's a real old post-pantomime villain all year round. He really does get stuck in. His battle with Paramore's going to be one for the purists.
Here goes Paramore. And it was Wilkinson who dumped him on the floor. Wilkinson now passes, having created the turnover. Botham chasing. Henry Paul is there. Keeps the ball alive. The referee says no offside against Fanaloa. And the ball was deflected on the way through to him. Azam took it into the ruck. Now it's Gummersall. Mercier. Henry Paul to Darren O'Leary. Trying to push off Stevenson. Does that. And got away from Vivian, who's been playing so well for Newcastle in the second row. In the back row today. Little chip is from Mercier. Back goes Wilkinson. Can't get there. Henry Paul nearly got a hand in. Robert Todd challenging, but it's David Walder who was cool under pressure. And O'Leary, ball still alive. Wilkinson going with the right boot and catching. But his fellow team members offside.
Well, it's a great catch from Johnny Wilkinson. But the Newcastle players have to make an effort to retreat first. They can't just wait for him to catch it. They should have made an effort to go back. A silly technical error there, but how about that tackle? from Johnny Wilkinson. We were talking about Paramore and Arnold. In steps the number 10 and says, don't worry about Arnold, worry about me. That's a hell of a hit. And Junior Paramore is a hard man. And here's Wilkinson taking the catch.
There's a loose cannon element to Paramore's play. Plays right on the edge, but he was pushed off the edge there by Wilkinson's tackle. It was immense. Knock on from O'Leary. Referee's seen it. Newcastle to put in. Two big packs. Gloucester have the advantage though, and they have a penalty. And with Mercier and Wilkinson in the two sides today, then expect plenty of points from the boot.
Well, one thing is for sure, this is well within Ludo Mercier's range. He drop kicks it from about 15 metres further back than this. Now, you know, he got Player of the Month, and I was a little bit critical because he wasn't really leading the back line well. But one of the differences in the last 3 weeks has been the way this guy has got flatter. I think Nigel Melville has said to him, get closer to the fence, and he's bringing people like Fanaloa and Todd into it on the game line. What impressed me most is not the goal kicking, but the fact now he's starting to bring others into the game.
Melville's phrase is a better balance, and he looks to his fly half to achieve that. He's been getting it. Mercier for Gloucester, and you know that takes him to 499 points for the season in all matches. That includes pre-season friendlies, but that is a mammoth total. 499.
It's a mammoth total. It's a mammoth brute, isn't it? I mean, he strikes that ball so well.
If his leg was a cricket bat, it would be used by Gooch or Botham.
I was thinking Clive Lloyd, but I'm a bit older than you. A bit. But you're right. It's hefty.
Right. With a good restart from Wilkinson. Gives his side every chance. Here's James Simpson-Daniel. Another one of the highlights of the season. He's lost that though, and here come Newcastle in the unmistakable shape of George Graham.
Play the ball. Play the ball, wait there.
Charlton. Wilkinson going for the drop goal, charged down by Jake Bourke. Stevenson. Wilkinson again. He's given very little space there. Oh, it's taken by Mercier. He'll need support, hasn't got the pace to get there. He's chipped very intelligently, but the bounce beats him. Knew he couldn't go himself, was looking inside, and it was Simpson-Daniel who was flying up.
There's the interception. Jamie Noon undercooked the kick. And look at the way Mercier's looking for Simpson-Daniel. He's there. He tries to kick it infield. Ball goes dead, but Gloucester turned defence into attack. It's a good line out there from Newcastle. Solid. They've got a very good line out.
And of course it had to be 5 metres from the line, as the law now states. Simpson-Daniel turning the ball back in, but the flag already up. Will be a Gloucester throw. Now here's James Simpson-Daniel, offering so much to spectators this season.
Well, for a long, long time, they haven't seen this here at Kingsholm. Dancing feet, that's normally been the power of the plod. Lost the ball in the end, but he's really exciting. Some great young players here.
He's on the inside lane for World Cup inclusion.
He's got a nice place in the rows, I tell you.
But this movement all about the power of the Gloucester 8, which they also love down here. A traditional part of the Gloucester makeup.
The very essence of life in Kingsholm.
I'm not talking lipstick. Gummersall. Mercier missing out Todd, given to Fanaloa. Here's Henry Paul. Dan O'Leary can't take it. There was no overlap though. It's good defence from Newcastle. They had drifted across. Man on man. Darren O'Leary, one of the great try scorers in club rugby over the last 10 years.
Yes, blood, I can see, thanks.
Yeah, O'Leary there was trying to get on the outside of Stevenson. That's what he wanted to do. Passing really not quite of a high enough calibre. You can see it's a little bit lateral. Mercier stops Fanaloa, and well, it's 2-on-2 all the way, isn't it? Perhaps O'Leary would have been better off coming off his right foot and coming inside Stevenson.
Yeah, I've got that, thanks very much.
Yes, Newcastle always there, always covering. Both sides have pace, don't they? There's Rob Fiddler, as honest as the day is long. Pace not his asset. Stuart Grimes alongside Doddy Weir in that second row. All Scottish international combination. O'Leary, Henry Paul, Fanaloa, big favourite here. Tries to go outside noon. Wilkinson tracking back. Intelligent pass as well to Walder. Referee saying no advantage for Newcastle. The ball drifted forward.
Both teams flexing their muscle at an early stage, trying to put width on it. I think defences are going to be stretched before the end of this afternoon.
And David Walder needs to stretch his muscles because he's had a hamstring problem. And there was an element of doubt about his inclusion today. Question mark about Tom May as well. I get the feeling that Newcastle are just about hanging in there. Physicality being tested. But that Bristol win has done them no favours whatsoever. If they were going to rely on others to see them into Europe next season. It looks doubtful now. Here's Mercier. And that's 6.
Henry Paul seemed to be dithering and taking his time. We've seen Paul knock it 50 metres. He said, well, I'll give it to you, Mercier. He kicks it about 70. Ludo, the left boot, imperious. A superb punter of the ball.
Crowd happy all around us because Stewart's sitting back in his chair.
Admiring that kick.
Here come Newcastle, though. Charlton, Marius Herter, 13 caps for South Africa. His international career was no way over when he came to Newcastle. A good addition to the squad. Wilkinson, caught by Paramore. Referee had already given a penalty for offside, but Paramore has Wilkinson's number, and he may well have hurt him with that tackle. Grabbed him round the collar. Now this is a worrying sight. Johnny Wilkinson, one of the best in the world, if not the best in his position currently.
I don't think there's anything sinister from Paramore. He's just getting done for toe by Wilkinson. It's an instinctive grasp and then throws him. Nothing, it's a penalty, but nothing you could be critical of Paramore for, really. It's just very awkward landing for Wilkinson. But he is nothing if not granite tough.
But the way Wilkinson reacted to the injury initially suggests that it might be serious. He was thumping the floor, he was in pain. Rob Andrew, who's looked after and guided Wilkinson, and now sees Wilkinson guiding his team on the field.
Well, it's a pretty young-looking team, and the last thing Newcastle need is their captain and catalyst, Johnny Wilkinson, to go off here. But I get the feeling he'll battle on. Clive Woodward's probably tearing his hair out in the studio, but Wilkinson's that sort of player. He's a tough un and he's a team man, but he's not looking good, is he?
No, he's also the player that wouldn't overreact to an injury.
It's a change, please.
Yeah.
And it was clear when it happened, it wasn't comfortable, and the change is going to have to be made here. And Andrew knows that without Wilkinson, the task of beating Gloucester at Kingsholm increases in difficulty to the level of impossibility. Newcastle won't throw the towel in, of course they won't. But now it becomes so difficult for them. Only Leicester have won here this season, back in September. 13 wins since then.
Well, I'm not quite certain why they haven't got a stretcher out, because he's finding it very difficult to move, even being helped off by 3 men. Pete Walton going off, and now they're carrying off. He's turned his ankle really, and they should be stretching him off. Here's the incident again. Nothing malicious from Junior Parrymore, but he's just off balance, and that's nasty.
And that's the response of the Gloucester crowd. There's no animosity at all in the air towards anybody, and least of all Wilkinson, one of England's favourites. So David Walder will step forward from full-back to the fly half role. Liam Botham has gone back to full-back at the moment. Gareth McClure is a possible replacement and is stripping off. Dave Richardson was the alternative, but it's McClure who seems set to come on. For now, it's Jamie Noon, who's played more games than anybody for Newcastle this year, and that was a good run again from the strong centre. Walder sends out the long pass. He needn't worry though, because the referee's whistle has gone. He now has to concentrate on his first kick.
Dave Walder will be very disappointed should he miss this one. Just about in front of the sticks. Now it looks as if McClure is just going to go straight over to the right flank. Stevens stays on the left, and Botham, as you say, is going to settle at full-back for the rest of the game.
Which is a backline that Newcastle have had on more than one occasion this season in the absence of Wilkinson. He was away with England, and these two actually met in November, these two clubs. Walder was fly half that day. Did well, didn't he?
That's a blow for Wilkinson, but it's a big opportunity for Dave Walder, the England manager here. He'll be looking to show he's a top class 10.
Well, a nervy start, but he got it. Of course, Dave Walder in the squad for England against Barbarians next weekend. So Clive Woodward, fingers crossed that nothing happens to Dave Walder now.
I reckon that's one of the worst successful kicks of the season. He was very nervous about that one. Swung very quickly.
Behind, please, Red. When you're ready.
So 3 points each. Charlton, Walder. Big cheer. Zam the man. Mercier. This could work out very well for Gloucester. Stevenson plays it. Ooh, trouble here for both them. Back to Stevenson. And Gummersall. Henry Paul. Back into that corner. Wasn't a great option. And Botham, the catcher, calling for the mark.
I just wonder whether Henry Paul might have thought to open that up then. Not a great option, and it wasn't a great kick. Here's the first kick. The bounce is going all the way of Mercier. Mercier here. Stevenson wants that to go out. Stands up and Gloucester almost make a mess of it. Of course, they've had to reorganise their back three now, and they just about get out of it. But Gloucester chase well with Todd and Fanaloa, and they'll do that all afternoon.
Loose play. Tiding influence again is Jake Bohr. That's very high from Mercier, the new full-back. That was obviously the plan with Henry Paul before, but that was a much better kick. But to be fair to both of them, he passed the test with flying colours. It's a penalty to Newcastle.
There's a bit of boost for both of them. It's a really good take under pressure from Todd there, because Mercier caught that one beautifully. And then Gloucester go offside. They're trying to put a lot of pressure on the Newcastle kicking game, and they're just stepping over the line, and this is an easy ball for Walder. Not quite finding their gear at the moment, the home team.
Walder, who went to North America with England last year, and there's the man who is set to lead England this summer, Phil Vickery. Donny Weir. Charlton, short ball to Graham. Charlton again, knock on. He tried the sneaky dart, hoping the referee hadn't seen it, but it was right underneath the referee's nose. Paul Charlton, there's a man who's played England A this season. And in behind Bracken and Dawson, there's still a raging debate as to who's the best one.
Yeah, he's had a bit of an in and out season, a little bit like Newcastle really, looking very good in parts, other times just a bit scruffy. Nothing scruffy about the left boot, but he hasn't found touch, Mercier, this time.
Clive Woodward sitting in our studio as we all play England selectors. Only one person that matters, or his team, and the team that matters. But we've all got a beer mat and we all play the game.
Did Liam Botham really call a mark then? It's a strange decision. Solid kick though. He just felt he had 30 metres to run the ball back, put it high, push it long. A bit too cautious there. I don't think the old man would be too impressed with that. It's the equivalent of letting 2 overs go outside the off stump.
Keep drifting into cricket today, highly approve of that. Todd. Fanaloa. A stab from Henry Paul came off McClure, as Simpson Daniel is pointing out. Graham Simmons, as ever, is on the touchline. Graham.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, just a quick word with Steve Black, who is the Newcastle fitness guru. Johnny Wilkinson is currently laid up in the Gloucester physio's room. He's got his left ankle fully strapped up. Doctor's having a look at it now, and they're pretty sure it's going to need an X-ray for a precautionary measure. But it didn't look too good when it came off, I have to say. Miles, back to you.
Thanks, Graham. Possibly end of season for Wilkinson anyway, regardless of what happens here. Time will tell on that. Fiddler, oh, straight through. Great running from the second row. And then Azam, as ever, up in support. And now it's Gummersall. Mercier. Interesting. Didn't quite work.
Part A was superb, part B was dreadful. Fiddler coming from deep, it's a lovely little ball off Gummersall. Couple of steps there, waits for his support. Azam as ever close by. I think Newcastle just slowed it down long enough. A dreadful pass from Mercier, and that's being kind.
But that's straight to Paramore. And still going on. Steve Lander takes a good look. No try. Jake Bohr can't believe it. Nor can Paramore, looking at his body position, lying on the ball on the floor. Well, it's not been given. That's all that matters now. Gloucester still have the put in. They can still hurt from this range. But there's no doubt they feel aggrieved there. Gummersall, Henry Paul, just looking at the defence. Robert Todd straightens up. Robert Todd scores. And Gloucester will say, justice is done.
The ladies of Gloucester enjoy that. Robert Todd, he runs straight and he runs strong. Did wonder when Wilkinson went off, not just the attacking game and the kicking, but the defensive system, so important in all of that. And Todd, well, he just fends off Tom May. That's a strong old finish, isn't it? Because Tom May, he's a pretty volatile centre himself. And Jamie Noon, hand with the left, the right. Well, how about that for a triple crown handoffs, Miles? That's a fine finish.
Excellent finish from Todd and from Mercier now with the conversion. It was one of those situations where the mistake from Paul almost brought about the try, because Newcastle came up and were drawn in, and then it made it easier for Todd, but it still took some finishing. As you say, it's a wonderful triple handoff.
You're quite right. It just pulled the defence completely out of shape, because one person thought, loose ball, I can go for it. Somebody sprints up after the ball, suddenly there's a hole. But Todd, well, he made a very small gap into a massive, massive hole, and he was through.
Walder, May, and the space there. Good awareness from May, and then butterfingers from Paul, and he winces. Tom May and Henry Paul will be part of the same England 7 squad coming up very soon next week. This is where Junior Paramore claimed he got the ball down, and I think he had every reason to claim that he got the ball down.
So he'll be a little bit riled that his mate Robert Todd ended up with the score. Justice was done in the end. Well, that try certainly scored by Paramore.
And Paramore, in fact, the top try scorer out of all the forwards in the Premiership this season. That would have been number 10 if you count this as part of the Premiership campaign, because it's not part of the table, but it's part of the whole Zurich season. The Shed don't like this penalty, and it's just what Newcastle required, having conceded that try, the opportunity to get some points back straight away.
You can sort of sympathise with the Shed there. There's no sign really of the Gloucester scrum being under pressure. They wouldn't really collapse a scrum in front of their own post. And Walder really should make it 10-6. And this will be a bit of a gimme.
You hear forwards going on about it all the time. Why would we collapse a scrum that far out
when we're not under pressure? Now Walder needs to make and pay. Oh, it's another complete seam up.
Well, their traffic control had problems yesterday, and I think Dave Walder may have picked up the glitch in the computer system, because these are low-flying, strangely directed penalties, but they're going over. And there's Paramore again. Almost lost control, didn't though. He's got control over that ball, and that was a try, which wasn't given, but no matter, because from the resultant attack, Robert Todd scored. Here's Fiddler. Plenty of good work in the loose. Same can be said of Paramore.
He is powerful.
Gloucester turning up the heat again. Mercier. He was looking for that inside ball. He may have gone outside. They go for the width now. Fanalua. Still Fanalua, like Todd, very strong in that centre. Gummersall. Vickery. Couldn't get the ball off to O'Leary, who was unmarked. Mercier. Todd. Might be a chance here for Newcastle to break away with replacement McClure. Richard Arnold using the boot, rucking the ball out, but Azam took it, and now Paramore releases Simpson Daniel. and then it's inside to Forrester. The youngsters combine, and Kingsholm rises once again. Simpson, Daniel and Forrester, two men to mark out for England's future. Great support again from that man. One of the Gloucester players down on the field, injured by the way, as the crowd celebrate that try.
Two young shimmering jewels, Forrester and Simpson Daniel. Against Leeds last week they carved up the morally relegated team, the Division 1 team, and now they're against a Premier side. And look at this, off the left foot, he's got a lot of work to do, and the awareness, where's my support? There it is, there's the power. Forrester, one of the bright young things of English forward play, and Azam, strong man, sets it up. Paramore, this is a fine score. He comes off that foot so well, Miles, and that's a strong finish.
Coolness under pressure. And these two young players have been part of the England 7 squad, and there's a lot of sevens about that finish. Mercier with the misconversion this time, but it's a strong position now for Gloucester. 15 points to 6.
A lot of fluidity in this game, isn't there? Both teams trying to put some width on it, but the difference is at the moment Gloucester have the capacity to put the direct power on. Robert Todd taken on, I think it's blood.
He was down for quite a while, but seems to be okay now. But he'll have to come off for the blood injury, and Tom Bime comes on. So that's a reorganisation for Gloucester. Newcastle have had to change things already in their back line with the loss of Johnny Wilkinson. But there's a confidence. Well, the debate there, did it go 10 metres? Well, I didn't think it did. I just assumed that was going back to halfway.
Steve Lander saying it doesn't have to carry 10, which is a sort of tough law, really. It bounces and then it goes. Gloucester don't play it. They'll not be very pleased, and they'll be even less pleased. Dodgy Wears nicked that one off Olivier Azam.
Through goes Hall Charlton. That's a good break from the scrum half. Can Newcastle hit back again? Graham. And went Devonshire. Walder.
Lined up inside.
No space there on the fringe for Newcastle. Paramore taking out Walder, but he offloaded well. There's Devonshire. Gritty work. But this time, in at the side, concedes a penalty. And it will be Gloucester's turn to try and clear. I was about to say the confidence of Gloucester to finish off the moves now. That has been a feature of their play. Against the weaker teams, it must be said, point that you made on the rugby club this week, that they've been putting away the sides towards the bottom. But another point is they've been scoring the tries, and confidence breeds confidence.
Gloucester finished the regular season the leading point scorer in the Premiership, and it wasn't all just the boot from Ludo Mercier. They did score a lot of tries, and you can see today they're going to need to score tries, because Newcastle, third best defence in the Premiership, conceded the least penalties. So it's very much the Gloucester attack in the Newcastle defence at the moment, and it's going the way of offence. Yeah.
Fiddler on the floor with his dustpan and brush, as opposed to on the roof. That was Ed Pearce, the other second row, with that bullocking run. This is Fanaloa. Oh, good hands under pressure. And Simpson Daniel touches the touch line. O'Leary had gone across, the two wingers combining there. He's so elusive, so quick. And such a great talent. Scored 5 tries in the last 2 Premiership matches. There he is, foot on the line, and that's out. Forrester tapping it back and then sorting out the argument on the floor. There he is. Penalty.
Well, that's about a 4-2 overlap there.
It's marginally late. It's a penalty, that's all.
The referee
Clearly he was going to get rid of the ball.
obviously feeling he needs a word, called a halt to the play. Mercier who will kick the touch. That's good distance. Wasn't the best of angles.
You could see Gloucester just starting to impose themselves upon the visitors. But they're struggling in the line-out.
And it falls for Azam and then Fiddler.
Oh, he's having a good first half.
This is where the Gloucester forwards have been dominant, in the loose, carrying the ball so well. Jake Bohr, another example of that.
Go on, play that, wait.
Gummersall, ball tapped out of his hands. Was the player offside?
There was a knock on.
It's been given as a knock-on.
I thought it went back. And Steve Landers not too concerned about being at Kingsholm. A lot of 50-50s. Not going Gloucester's way at the moment.
Big drive from Gloucester.
They were angry.
Yes, they didn't feel it was a knock-on. They thought Paramore scored a perfectly good try. And he did. Dave Walder finding the touch.
Miles, you said one of the strengths of Gloucester is their forwards are carrying well. You're absolutely right. This is the difference. They're able to punch down the middle. This is Ed Pearce, and he just goes straight through Newcastle, crosses the game line very, very quickly, and then they can put width on it. At the moment, Newcastle have no one capable of committing the first line of defence, and that is giving the Gloucester backs a little bit more space.
And a better line out, which gives the platform.
That's a ball. Let it go away, Black, get away.
Scored 2 tries. Can they make it 3 before half-time? And then Newcastle would be in trouble. Fiddler again.
Him and Ed Pearce, very impressive.
Paramore. Fanalua fell for him nicely. Barging off 1 and then 2. Gummersall's reverse pass, it was risky. Mercier tried to collect but couldn't. And it's Brotherston, the hooker for Newcastle. And Walder. Gloucester midfield offside this time.
Oh, 9,000 collective drawn breaths. They're 15-6 up, so they're holding some of the adult language in check at the moment.
And Walder making sure, in fact, putting the ball out of the ground.
That's a hell of a thump.
He was bang in the centre, wasn't he?
Newcastle, very good line out, and there's the main reason why. Stuart Grimes won more line outs than anyone in the Premiership. Great season for the Scot.
And if Newcastle lose this match today, Stuart Grimes can board the plane with Scotland to North America.
No hands up, no hands. Keep red.
Charlton, Walder, O'Leary. Not entirely clear whether he took that back in, but he came out of his 22 anyway.
Little error there from Darren O'Leary. He wasn't really spatially aware, was he? Easy position given away to Newcastle. One step back. He's in his 22. Well, he's out of his 22 when he kicks it as well. But he gets it wrong on all counts. No argument about that one.
Brotherston. Absolute gift for Fiddler, didn't expect it. And therefore did well to react and take it. Another firm Gloucester drive.
Now lead, Black, now lead, more hands, back feet.
Mercier. Paul, it goes along the line. Fanalua. Darren O'Leary. Good check inside, left Tom May, who doesn't look fit to me.
Okay,
Then Paul.
no hands, no hands.
Mercier.
No support there.
And May comes in with a tackle, as if to say, I am fit, you know. And we'll always be high on effort. Forrester. And his big, long strides covers the ground so quickly.
Let it go. Shut up and get on with it.
Paul. He'll want to go from here. Paramore 2. Simpson Daniel. They're always looking to feed him, and this is why. Jinking his way past many a defender. Fiddler. Gummersall goes in. The pace is good from Gloucester. Ed Pearce.
Get away, Black.
That all about power. Gummersall. Fanalua. Tap back from Azam. Falls for Vickery. Referee quite rightly plays on. And Vickery nearly driving on. Collazo is there. Azam 2 is the front row in the driving seat. Gummersall. Now it's Tom Bime. Thought he had a sneaky chance of getting over himself. He's stopped by Devonshire. They're nearly there. Couple of metres short. Gummersall, it will be a killer blow this try. Henry Paul. Simpson Daniel. Oh, that's beautiful. That is simply beautiful. On to Tom Bime. You have to applaud that from Simpson Daniel. Tom Bime scored it, and he was clever himself to go on the loop. But the creator, a young man who is going to do a lot in this game for club and country. And for Tom Bime, who's had his injury problems, that will feel good to cross the try line.
It was worth coming to Kingsholm to see that try. We saw brilliant back play and we saw mighty power. Phil Vickery on the charge, but we'd already seen Ed Pearce having a go. The awareness and then the combination between Bime and Simpson Daniel was absolutely beautiful.
Okay,
The Simpson Daniel steps beforehand were magical. That was a superb try, wasn't it?
Well, all the nominations are in, I think, for try of the season, but you want to throw that one in the mix. As you say, it's a lovely team try.
Well, as everyone from Gloucester votes on our website, he'll have a chance of winning. Deserved 7 points.
Mercier's conversion, and it's 22 points to 6. And that is by far and away a winning lead for a side that's only lost once all season at home.
This was a glorious score. Couple of drives. Right. Well, we'll see it at half-time probably. Let's get back, concentrate on the live action. And Ed Pearce, he is in bullocking form.
Gummersall. And Newcastle, even at this stage, starting to look a little bit lethargic in their movements. They look a tired side physically and now probably mentally, because Gloucester have been hammering away in this first half and they have the lead to show for it.
Well, we've seen some brilliant work from Simpson Daniel out wide, but the missed tackles are coming because Fiddler, Pearce and Paramore are driving through the heart of Newcastle. Boy, this is a powerful start from the Gloucester pack, and this is a good position for them. Starting to ooze confidence.
Paul. Todd. Back on. Jake Bohr. Inside is Paramore. Game over, surely. The crowd seem to know it. And the message that they wanted to deliver today was this message. a winning one. It is going to be one of the best comebacks of the season if Newcastle do it from here.
We've just seen 2 minutes of brutal beauty. Forwards and backs combining. Absolutely superb stuff. We said they're starting to lose confidence. Well, just check this out. Todd, the show. Jake Ball, the power. And Paramore, the glory. What a last 10 minutes to this half from Gloucester. Are they on their way to Twickenham?
And Stuart, it's a standing ovation here in the main stand. Everybody up on their feet to celebrate that first half performance. Of course, they're already standing in the shed. One of the best teams of the season, finished third in the table, have produced a half to be proud of. Newcastle go into the changing rooms to lick their wounds, quite literally. And that represents a mountain. Talking of mountains, Ludovic Mercier has put his ball on the tee, and it stands pretty high. Almost palm it down from there. But then it goes very high, and that is almost the perfect restart. And it's Gloucester who get it. And now Mercier shapes to drop at goal, but keeps it in hand and goes Fanaloa.
That was a little indecisive from Terry Fanaloa, but he's got the strength to get himself out of jail.
Kicked on by Stevenson. Now he has got great pace. Needs to control this. It's a good effort the second time, but Simpson-Daniel is coming back. Great race between the two. And I think Simpson-Daniel just got the ball down. He did, before Stevenson came in to try and claim the try. Stevenson's problem, he was having to control it, which was breaking his pace, but Simpson-Daniel was like an Olympic sprinter there.
Well, it's a lovely half volley from Stevenson. Now the ball just breaks in field. He's doing pretty well, but Simpson-Daniel coming from his other wing knocks it down. Now Newcastle, how they could do with anything here.
Charlton, Devonshire. Some changes have been made at half-time. We'll fill you in just a second, but the action now is with Fiddler. He's done everything right today, Rob Fiddler. Missed one game last season, virtual ever present this season. Botham, McClure. That's Pat Lam, who's on the field in this second half. And Tom May couldn't put the pace on, couldn't get away. And more disappointment for Newcastle.
I thought that was half a chance for Gareth McClure then. Forrester did ever so well, you know, just to hold on to May. He was almost gone.
Pat Lam for Doddy Weir. Weir has played his last match for Newcastle. If they go out here, Lam could be about to play his last match. Both players leave at the end of this campaign.
So Vivian moves into his more familiar position of second row, and I think what Newcastle are doing is trying to get more pace and a bit of Lam's power to counter this Gloucester onslaught.
A slice off the boot of Mercier. A rare statement this year. Stevenson to McClure. Tries to float the pass. Consequently, Gloucester get the men over there. Hand in from Todd. Could well have been a knock-on. Referee's playing an advantage. Doesn't happen for Newcastle. Was a knock-on.
Frenetic pace to this second half. No doubt at all. You just feel Gloucester are trying to up the pace, and they're trying to put a bit more width on their game. You can see the influence of Paul Turner now.
That change in the Gloucester front row just confirmed. Trevor Woodman coming on for Patrice Colasso. It's
about pride for Newcastle here. seen them here before, Miles, haven't we, when they lost to Wolverhampton in the Cup, and they stuck at it very well that day in the second half.
Pat Lam will want to go down with a fight.
Pat Lam won't want to go down.
Gummersall, Mercier. Botham. There's a lot of time here for Paul. Wasn't a great kick from Botham. Crowd want him to run. He probably wants to run, and now he is.
Get away, Black, get away!
Gummersall at the short side. And again the scrum half. Good pick-up from Mercier, appreciated by the supporters. A short ball from Todd to Bohr. Tap forward. Well, I think that was fair.
Jake Bohr picks a very good line. It's interesting watching Henry Paul counter-attack. He's very different to his ex-rugby league convert Robinson. When Robinson gets the ball, he hairs off immediately. Henry Paul meanders and he almost looks for a weak link in the defence and to pick a hole. Very different styles.
Good running from Botham. And it almost fell to Lam there, who was right on Botham's shoulder. And it's been a case of almost in the second half for Newcastle. That's another opportunity slipping through the fingers. Look at Botham's line here, good one.
Good play from Paul Charlton as well, wasn't he? He pulled the Gloucester defence wide and then laid a lovely little ball inside to Botham.
Stay back, Rose, stay in!
Gummersall waits, back with Nigel Melville. Of course, they were together at London Wasps. And Mercier has planted that one.
Taking his time now. And Gloucester back into Newcastle territory after a couple of scares for the home team. It will be interesting to see whether Gloucester ease off or whether they go through with this effort and produce a real 80-minute effort.
Whatever happens today, it's a King's Home goodbye. The winner of this match will play away to Sale or Wasps. Henry Paul. O'Leary. Doesn't quite work for Darren O'Leary today.
He sent that one to the Art of Counter-Attack editor and he said, no thank you, that was terrible. But it was indecisive all the way, and golden rule, when you're not quite certain what you're doing in the back three, just put boot to ball, make a decision quickly, that's very important.
Taken there by Grimes. Wall still on the move. Danger of stopping now. Steve Lander says use it. And it's May. There's this explosive power. Haven't seen it today. Devonshire. Walder. And Vivian. Another player being looked at by England. Walder's step, but not the pass. Devonshire. Handing off Gummersall. Good recovery from the open side.
Dogged play, but he holds on to the ball. And Andy Gummersall, he's thinking of going, but I think Ludovic Mercier said, I'll get you 50 metres down there without quite the same amount of effort. Yeah, Tom May, certain Newcastle would like to bring him into this game because Ludovic Mercier has a great boot, but I tell you, he's probably the worst drifting defender in the Premiership from number 10. He misses a lot of tackles, but Newcastle, especially with Wilkinson off, haven't been able to really run May at Mercier and challenge him on the outside.
The evidence of what happened at Welford Road, maybe that mantle has been passed on by Mercier. Some gaping holes there in the Leicester defence. He's saying some strange things at the end of the season. Walder. Noon. That's Jamie Noon. That's what he can do. Tackled by Paul, but the support was there. McClure first to arrive. Walder, Vivian.
okay. Get away. Let it go. Let it go. No hands red. Leave it.
Charlton could be about to come off because Gary Armstrong is stripped down. It's a penalty for Newcastle. They're working hard. They're inching their way back into this match, but as yet they haven't got any points to show for it.
Sometimes the temptation is to just keep running everything. I wonder whether they'll say, let's try and get some points. I don't think they're going to.
They are going to make a change, though. It is Armstrong for Hall Charlton. The famous five about to leave Newcastle. Inga Twigamala is already gone. Hall Charlton will be very much part of Newcastle's future. Gary Armstrong won't. He goes to Borders, along with George Graham, Doddy Weir, and of course Pat Lamb retires at the end of this season. Talk about big holes in defence. They're big holes to fill in the squad. The way things are going at Newcastle, I think the replacements are being groomed in the academy.
I suppose the overall mark for Newcastle is probably about 6 out of 10 this season. They haven't done badly, but I think they might have expected a little bit more. Saw 1 or 2 holes in this squad.
Yes.
Walder's 3 points. That was a sensible decision by Newcastle. Cuts the gap to 20. It's not totally unmanageable as yet. It will do if it stays like this and the minutes slip away, then the panic will set in. They need another score pretty quickly, but if they get one, well, you never know.
That's 30 minutes left. That's plenty of time for 3 tries. They don't take long. Talking to Clive Woodward in the box during the first quarter-final about time management. Plenty of time if they don't panic.
Interesting concept, you and time management. I thought you go hand in hand, but there you go. Charged down by Azam.
I'll give you a punctual slap in a minute. Good pressure there from Gloucester.
Both jumped together. Who can argue you took him out?
It's also quite important, you know, wasn't it, that penalty, because it just slowed Gloucester down a little bit. Here's the pressure from Azam. Very mobile, but strong man. He's had a good season.
Mercier, Simpson Daniel. Well, he was spotted, but they couldn't do anything about it, and he found Fanalua, who finds Henry Paul. There's more life about Paul's play when he comes in from full-back. Looks happier in that position.
I think he likes to see what's coming at him, you know.
There's Azam with a bullish snort. Gummersall. And then there's plenty of men out there if they use them. Trying to lure one of them. Paul. Vickery. Gummersall. This is Forrester. Maybe a chance here as O'Leary goes. Good pace. Darren O'Leary, he's taken the decision and he has delivered. It's another moment for the Gloucester crowd to revel in. We're just saying it hasn't quite gone for O'Leary today, but now the smile, doing what he does best, finish.
Well, the fanatical, forward-loving Gloucester fans were just starting to get frustrated and demanding the drive. Gloucester, they go wide. Forrester in the midfield, gives the pass. It's a 3-on-1, and O'Leary says, I'll take it, because McClure's on the drift to Paramore. You make that decision, you've got to get there. O'Leary, one of the most accomplished try scorers in the Premiership, goes low. He goes through his man, Liam Botham. Ooh, and just about gets on the line. Just about.
I'd like to see that one again. Mercier flags up once more for Ludovic Mercier. And as that ball comes into land for the umpteenth time this season. Nigel Melville looking on in the stand, happy with the performance of his team, no doubt. I don't think this will change the result of the match, but it might certainly affect the strength of the Newcastle comeback.
Not yet. He's reaching for the line. White. Generous.
You don't quite see from that the position of the ball to the line, and Steve Lander was in good position. Here goes Todd and Herta.
It's the first thing Todd's given away all day.
With the one in the first half, we could definitely say it was a try. It wasn't given, but from the replay it was conclusively a try. From that one, not so sure. Go with the referee.
I suppose there's something to be said with going with the attacking instinct. Certainly I don't think Newcastle can have any complaints about Steve Lander's refereeing.
Don't creep in there. Get in or get out, Red.
No hint of being affected by the shed in the first half. That one might have gone the home side's way.
Gummersall. Oh, great running from Gummersall. He's got ball with him. If he looks, he finds him. On to that Newcastle 22.
There it is, let it go.
Fine run from the scrum half, that. Here comes Paramore at pace. Out to Todd. Henry Paul wants it. On to Fanalua. Inside it goes. And it's the hands of Arnold which prevent Gloucester from scoring another try. And it's the boot of Walder who tries to relieve the pressure, but only as far as Paul, who gives it to Simpson Daniel. All Gloucester again now. Forrester, good take from him. Vickery on the wing, they'll love this. Vickery going, puts in the handoff. Oh my goodness, he's done it. Oh, ha, ha.
Now we have the hybrid monster that the rest of the Premiership dreads. Phil Simpson Vickery. Stop him if you can. And again, the youngsters start it. Simpson Daniel wants to run everything. Forrester in support. 35 metres. There's the pace. And here's the Fanaloa sidestep. Over she goes. Phil Vickery. What a moment.
Well, all Gloucester supporters will watch this. Good position for the touch judge. He knew he wasn't out, and Vickery knew he wasn't out. He knew he was over. The new England captain. Oh, yes.
That is almost obscene. Oh, God, he's going to bore his friends tonight.
Mercier just fails. He's coming back in, but stayed wide. Now, sometimes when prop score tries, in the telling of the tale, it's embellished a touch. You know, and 5 metres turns into 10, turns into 20. Well, Phil Vickery has the video evidence to show that that was a quite superb score.
That'll have to be 40 metres before we get to the realm of exaggeration.
And that is Newcastle sunk. All about pride for them now. This will be their last match of the season, and they have to go out with heads held high. Fanalua wants to take their heads off.
That's ragdoll stuff from Newcastle, and Gloucester are looking very mean and muscular. And Gummersall, I tell you, he's having a game as well. Orchestrated everything.
They all want the ball in hand now. Ed Pearce stamping his way through the challenge. Mercier, Paul. Well, not everything can work.
It's still not quite happening for Henry Paul, but for Phil Simpson Vickery, raging over the line. Bring me the rest of the northeast of England. I'll take them on. The King of Cornwall with a regal try.
please.
Armstrong. Henry Paul safe underneath the high ball. Forrester.
There it is.
Gummersall. Paul, Todd. He's perfected the handoff. There's Todd and Paul. That was sensible. Bohr. Nearly. Woodman was there. Couldn't find him. And as we all know, Woodman shares Vickery's pace. And you throw in Olivier Azam. What a mobile front row that is. And Nigel Melville, having joined Gloucester, will be looking on and thinking, this is not a bad decision. He's got so much to work with here. Melville felt he'd taken London Wasps as far as they could go. Almost hinted that at the start of the season in his interviews with Graham. He's come here to Gloucester and he has taken over a ship sailing in the right direction. And he's tweaked it very well indeed, along with Paul Turner, because there's not just forward play, there's back play in abundance. Here's Fanalua. Good tackle from Stevenson.
We'll see a cheer from the shed, I think, because Newcastle able to stop Gloucester first line. But really the support work of Gloucester has been exceptional. They're coming at Newcastle from all angles at the moment, and very tough for Newcastle.
And that's the ultimate future of the club. They're missing a marketing trick though. They should have a Gloucester rugby dummy.
Complete with in-your-face handoff.
Quite a cherry and white top on the teddy bear on the dummy, but there's one for the marketing men to get their heads round. Lamb. Walder. Tom May. Good step. Forward pass. Rob Andrew down in front of us throws his hands in the air, but we're virtually in line with that, as is Rob, and that looked like a forward pass.
Well, got Tom May on the angle. Good little break there from Lamb. Little show of the ball. Jake Bohr didn't make the tackle. Shade forward.
You've seen those allowed to go, though, and that rather sums up Newcastle's day. But it was forward, if only just. It's still the law.
Oh, Super 12, that's backward pass. They were a couple of games this morning, weren't they? Hey, what a final that's going to be.
Walder. And that is intelligent, because nobody is back. Forrester is trying to get there and does so. I mean, in this second half, we've seen Forrester and Simpson-Daniel show just why they are the complete rugby players in their positions. They're not just an attacking force. They track every blade of grass. First it was Simpson-Daniel, as I say, and now Forrester denying Newcastle.
Good awareness as well, you know. Pace is such a priceless commodity. And he reads the game well. Young man, big future.
May. And Fanalua says, I'll have you. Marius Herter. Walder. And Newcastle, who looked tired before half-time, look almost on their beds now.
But they're struggling to find anyone to make that punch from the forwards, whereas Gloucester, when in doubt, can drive it straight down the middle. Long way to go
for both of them. Henry Paul, time to trap it. Jake Bohr, unsung. And a penalty.
I must say, there was some shadow tackling there. Newcastle did not fancy Jake Bohr. He's been part of a back row that has really run riot today alongside Forrester and Paramore.
And now the tetchiness, Newcastle losing 10 metres there. Mercier, Todd to Fanaloa. You feel something's just around the corner here for Gloucester. Mercier.
No hands now, no hands.
Forrester. Great straightening up from Forrester. Oh, nearly to Bohr. Newcastle getting a body in the way. It's that burst of pace that Simpson Daniel has that Clive Woodward was talking about at half-time. Forrester shares it, just kick and go.
Well, great sidestep there. A little bit ambitious. Newcastle do very well to stem the tide again, but he does have a change of pace. So rare in such a big man as Jamie Forrester.
Change for Gloucester is in the second row. Craig Gillies on loan from Llanelli. Off goes Ed Pearce. Used to be at Bath. He was part of a double winning squad there, but he's very happy to be just down the road here now. And you wonder whether Craig Gillies would like to stay here permanently. Now he's tasted the Gloucester atmosphere and winning ways.
I must say, Ed Pearce had a huge reputation as a youngster at Bath, and things didn't happen, and he'd been quiet for a while at Gloucester. But what I've seen the last few months, he's just starting to flower again and looking like a very good player.
Andy Gummersall goes off with a bit of a limp. Dimitri Yashvili, his scrum half replacement. And although this might in a way water down the Gloucester effort, so many occasions we see the subs doing that, it's a wise thing because they've got more games to come. They've got a semi-final now to look forward to and a possible Twickenham final for the first time in 12 years.
Didn't water down the scrum.
No, and a possible try here, looking a probable try as Mercier gets it. No change. That's the message from Gloucester. The agony piles for Newcastle. They just want the end of season. Gloucester eyeing up Twickenham.
The Cherry and Whites are making Newcastle look a very callow team at the moment. I know they've got injuries, but it can't be good for Rob Andrew to see this young team really just being wiped out now by the power of that surge. Wow.
Didn't quite hear the message on the 10. I imagine it goes along the lines of Ludovic Mercier scored more than 500 points for the season in all matches. I heard the all matches bit. And it hits the post.
No, that's not what you expected. Great destructive scrum. Paramore with a lovely ball again, and Mercier hitting the ball flat, and that makes a lot of difference.
Once again, the Newcastle defence found wanting.
Number 6.
Newcastle, meanwhile, are bringing on a young second row stroke back row player, wonderfully named for his position, Andrew Springate.
Okay, let's go. Let him play it, let him play it, there it is. No hands
Hugh
back.
Vivian, who's gone
Right
off.
there.
The right boot, a rarity, but he finds touch. Good game from Mercier. We said earlier about how much he's flat. And look at this, when Paramore gets the ball, you can see him there, so flat, the gain line just there, and bang. Because he's flat, Stevenson can't react. There's no way they can stop their man, and he's over. All because of his positional play.
And remember, Gloucester's recent totals, 40, 50 and 60 in the last 3 Premiership matches. Kavi Suavu is to replace Junior Paramore, and listen to this roar. Equalled James Simpson-Daniel with his try scoring in the Premiership. Made himself very popular. Armstrong.
Let him play, Red, get away!
And then Graham.
Get away, Red! No hands, no hands!
Walder. May. Botham. Just think he mentioned the names of Armstrong and Graham.
Wait!
Newcastle about to sever virtually all links with their championship winning side. Here through the middle goes Jamie Noon. Part of days to come for Newcastle, and that is the reason why, and he got it out of the tackle, but like everything else today, it's gone Gloucester's way. That's because Gloucester have made it go their way. Azam. And we know what that cheer meant. Forrester called back. Lovely hands though, even though the whistle had gone, to pull that ball in. He's got all the skills.
Do wonder then whether Jamie Noon should really have gone for the gas on the outside of Paul. He seemed indecisive when he made the break. And after the break, here's Azam. Nothing indecisive about that. Powerful stuff. Stuart Grimes knocked out of the way. But, you know, Jamie Noon was clean through one-on-one. You've got to back yourself against the fullback. It's a great line, first of all. Look at this. Late and flat. The gap opens up. Surely he's got to go on the outside. So Arbu does ever so well to get back, but I must say, Noon didn't really back himself. That's what happens, I suppose, when you're 46-9 down.
And look at that Gloucester shove. Driven Newcastle right off the ball. And it leads to the penalty.
Yeah, good decision.
Another 10 metres. Silly.
Come here, please. Wait, please. Wait. Who's captain, please? Captain, please. Who's captain now? Tommy. Captain, please.
Pat Lamb, who is standing in as captain when he's on the field. Johnny Wilkinson off, of course.
I have to talk to you twice now and walk you 10. If I have to do it again, you'll get a 10-minute rest. It's good advice, okay? Have a chat to him, please. Thank you.
Because we don't want this one to spill over now. But with the lack of closeness on the scoreboard, I would have thought there's much danger of that. This game is in the pocket.
Leicester still playing with a lot of edge to their game, though. I get the feeling they want 50. They want to make a point.
It's actually gone forward there off Red. Scrum Blackmore.
A knock on there. Now their stated aim this week would be forget about the Azam situation.
Red 2, change.
Use it just to top up the incentive levels, but not as the main incentive.
2 and 3.
But you're right, they will be trying to make a point.
Now, please.
And I think the crowd will too here, as we wait to hear the applause for Vickery and Azam.
Here come the Gloucester Bulls off the pitch. The Newcastle Bullfighters well and truly gored this afternoon.
Keep it up, Red. That's not
Bill
good enough.
Vickery, the prop come wing.
And Vickery's try, undoubtedly one of the highlights of the afternoon, but there have been many, the way Gloucester have played. Some top quality scores.
Change.
There is Andy Robinson in the stand.
Wait, please,
His
Black.
England management partner Clive Woodward in the studio, and they will be taking note of all these performances as they think about the Barbarians game to come next week, and also the short tour of Argentina. As Jake Bohr. And then Yashvili through his legs, I think.
Well, watch out now, because Simpson Daniel has moved to fly half. 8 minutes to create mayhem.
Henry Paul has created mayhem there with that burst. Now he will back himself, and listen to this roar. It's been a difficult season for him, but now in the fullback position he can certainly raise a smile, and the shed can certainly raise a cheer.
Paul's pyrotechnics at last. Simpson Daniel very flat, challenging, and there's through the gap. It's not a great first tackle, but this is a little gem of a step, isn't it? Backs himself, and he's under the posts. And he'll convert his own try.
And part of his frustration this season, he's been behind Mercier, and understandably, with the kicking at goal. He's obviously a first-choice kicker at most other clubs. What a backup to have. And emerging in his role, his new role, and he still has this amazing ability just to prise open a defence.
I just feel he likes the space a little bit more than playing right on the goal line. Well, he just caught the fag end of that restart. And it was not a very good one.
I think the cry was E-or.
And that's an insult to donkeys. Oh dear.
Stay behind you, please. Wait there.
Paul. Fanalua. By him. Yashvili to Fiddler now. He's on the wing. A two in one day would have been too much to take.
Let him play it.
Walder. Oh dear, the whistle's gone. Because advantage was being played to Newcastle, nothing came. And Darren O'Leary will see that one wiped off the board.
12, change please, 12.
He's been a little bit inconsistent in the amount of time he's played the advantage. Early on, we praised him for saying you get the ball from the knock-on, that's enough. And this time,
Please and wait.
he says that's no advantage, and I tend to agree there. Well, Darren O'Leary probably didn't. Look at this scrummage area now. I mean, Newcastle have capitulated in the scrum.
That was fair enough, though, wasn't it? The penalty at the breakdown, and you've got to give it a chance to go, and it didn't go. In fact, it went awfully wrong. And Richardson on the field now, as everybody seems to be. We've worked our way through both sets of replacements. Devonshire. There's Andy Deacon in his testimonial year, former captain. He's 37 in July. I don't think there's one supporter in the ground wearing cherry and white not joining in. And he has been watching, and it's been awful viewing for him.
No, I mean, Gloucester, it's been men against boys, hasn't it? Gloucester are just dismantling Newcastle, and the worst thing for Newcastle now, they can't get any first phase ball because Gloucester's scrum have got them on toast. I wonder if they fancy something else.
Sardines, probably.
As opposed to the Newcastle defence, which has been positively lemming.
Simpson Daniel. Henry Paul, another bit of magic maybe. Not if Jamie Noon has anything to do about it. It's Jake Bohr. Tireless work from him. Yashvili, good pass. Simpson Daniel. Burst of pace. Yashvili again, Forrester, try time once more, perfect finish, Fanalua, semi-finals, here we come.
It wouldn't have been the perfect day for the Shed unless that man, Terry Fanaloa, gets one. They love him here, and he's been a wholehearted performer since he arrived. But I must say, in the last couple of months, he's added extra to his game. He's been strong today, not the star, but solid.
Adopted, adored, Fanalua. But he will admit this was just too easy.
Forrester the link again. Such a good footballer, he stands wide and he makes the right decisions. Here we see it again. Men over. Well, that's very easy.
Well, Stuart, you were talking about wanting 50. They now are on the point of 60. One big response from the crowd, 60 responses from the team.
It is going to be a very long journey back to the northeast. And Newcastle, they knew that Gloucester would try and prove a point, and prove 60 of them. And this is a horrible end to season for Newcastle because they have capitulated.
And for them, there's nowhere to go after this, apart from to live in hope that somebody else does something for them in terms of European qualification. But with Bristol beating Leicester,
yeah, they'll be concerned now. Gloucester, they're already certain of playing in the European Cup, and they look like they could be a force. And you can see there, Gloucester's scrum has dismantled Newcastle. I said men against boys, and it has been.
Well, they've already experienced a European semi-final against Leicester. Well, they would love to return to the end of that competition next season, but it's the Zurich Championship which they're thinking about now, and a Twickenham final appearance. Gary Armstrong will not give up his trademark. But this greedy Gloucester crowd want more, and they want Gloucester to go from here.
Yeah, well, they used to love it when the wind blew and the rain poured. Now this is the land of Champagne rugby. The sun shines. The world turned upside down, at least the rugby world.
Henry Paul with the kick away. It wasn't the amazing try that the crowd wanted from 2 meters from their own line. Talking of champagne, you've got to think about your man of the match. Any initial thoughts?
Yeah, about 15 Gloucester players at the moment. We'll come to which one it is, but it's been quite a tough one to call. Some outstanding performances.
Go on, still advantage.
I don't envy you on this one this week.
Well, I'm going to take the champagne moment into account when I come up with this champagne man of the match.
There's a clue, here's Noon. And then Stevenson. Is this a consolation? No, it's not. Go on then, you give the champagne to somebody before you take it yourself.
The runners-up, Ed Pearce, Rob Fiddler and Junior Paramore, but for one of the finest tries seen on the left flank. Great leadership from the front. The England captain, the Gloucester captain, Phil Vickery, a belated man of the match. He's waited a long time for that. What a performance from the Gloucester captain. What a performance from Gloucester.
Botham. Devonshire just slightly switched off here. Gloucester in defence, and Devonshire, having seen that, still can't deliver a scoring pass. But there it is. Gloucester have crushed Newcastle. That's the message that they really wanted to send out today. And it's 12 years since this famous club played at Twickenham in a major final. 30 years since they were the first club to win the cup. This is a different competition. But now Gloucester one step away of embracing the chance of a return to the home of English rugby. And they would turn out in force, this crowd. They say goodbye at Kingsholm for the season, but they will follow Gloucester all the way to Twickenham if they can.
Well, all I'll say is if Gloucester can carry this Kingsholm form to Sale or Wasps in a fortnight's time, they are going to be extremely hard to beat. Sale away is potentially a really tough game, but at the moment, the way Gloucester are going, the power of the pack, the panache behind, they have to be the favourites with Leicester out the way. A hugely impressive performance and a marvellous afternoon of rugby.
And within this long, hard season, Phil Vickery's team have managed to develop and transform themselves from a very forward-dominated side, winning matches here at home with the power of the 8 and the boot of Mercier. But within the last few weeks, they have discovered another aspect to their play, which is making them possibly the most dangerous side in this end-of-season championship. And thinking about next season, they've got so much to look forward to here.
Well, the regular starting berth for Forrester and Simpson-Daniel has added an extra dimension. Special word for Andy Gomersall, who's really leading them well from scrum half, but this looks a strong team, a happy team, and Nigel Melville will be thinking it's a move well made.
And if we're handing out special words,